Hello and welcome to another Friday Ask Us Anything Live, when I cover interesting grammar point or pronunciation, or there's sometimes being punctuation questions. So don't hesitate to comment below like our students do with any questions you might have, that I can do a short video for you to understand better. So at the moment I'm covering every tense. So every tense has its own video. So be sure to check out the playlist so you can see the other tenses to see how they work. So I'm going to talk to you about the present perfect today, which is possibly the most difficult tense for pretty much all English learners to understand and to use properly. And this is because it's a very complex tense. It's not just one particular use, but there are 5 ways that we use it. And so you have to think in English and put your English hat on to help use it correctly. Because it's very difficult to translate. In many languages, it will be different tenses instead of just the one tense, which we have. So let's get started. So the first use of the present perfect is when we're talking about an action in the past that continues now. So what do I mean by that? I mean, for example, in 2009, so back in the past, I moved to Paris. Okay, that action is in the past simple because it happened in the past, the moving. But the action that started in 2009 and is continuing up to now is the action of living. So I would say, I have lived in Paris since 2009. So this is very important. So this is, I couldn't say I have moved to Paris since 2009 because the action moving happened, boom, and it was finished and completed in the past in 2009. But the action of living started in the past in 2009 and continues to now, and will probably continue. Definitely continue. And so to create the past, the present perfect, okay, we've got subject plus have or has plus the past participle. And for negative, you would have subject plus has or hasn't plus the past participle. For a question, you would say have or has plus subject plus past participle. So be sure to check out our fast grammar course, where there is an appendix on all the past participle irregular verbs, which can be a little confusing. So back to that first use. So we say, I have lived in Paris since 2009. Now I use since because that is when the starting point of the action started, like the point where the action in the past started and it's continuing now. I can also use for. So I can also say, I have lived in Paris for, well, we're 2022 now, so 13 years. I have lived in Paris for 13 years. Okay, so this is very common use of the present perfect. For example, they have known each other since they were little. They have been married for 10 years. And in the negative, so I haven't seen Bob since Tuesday. No, since last Tuesday. Okay, so these are all talking about actions that start in the past and continue to the present. You can also use it if you think about an action that happened in the past and the time word, the time is still continuing in the present. So what do I mean by that? I mean the time words that started in the past and continue to the present. So for example, today started at 0001 and is continuing now and will continue until midnight. This week started today, Monday. Oh, sorry, it's Friday. It's like Graham Norton. So the week starts on Monday, it's continuing up to today, and it will continue until Sunday. This month started on the first day of the month and is continuing until the end of the month. This year, again, started in January, continues until December. These are all time words that started in the past and are continuing now. So that's when we also use the present perfect. So, for example, he has drunk 2 cups of coffee already this morning. Okay, because this morning started at, I don't know, 5 a.m. and it's continuing until midday. Or they have played a lot this week. They haven't talked much this month. Okay, so again, it's the action started in a time period that started in the past and continues now. Also, same idea, but this is again, I would say it's use number 3. So an action happened in the past, but the consequence, the effect is now in the present. Okay, the result is now in the present from the action in the past. So there is a link between the past and the present. The situation is the same in the past as it is in the present. If the situation is different, if there is no link, there is no connection, then we would use the past simple. So, for example, ow, and you ask me, what's wrong? What has happened? And you see blood on my hand. And I say, ow, I have cut my hand. Or my hair is wet. I say, oh, I have had a shower this morning because my hair is wet from the shower. So the consequence is now. Okay. My cat has hurt her leg. So she hurt her leg last week, but she is still having trouble with this one paw this week. So the consequence is still now. If you arrive home and you realize you don't have your keys, then you would say, I have lost my keys. Okay, so you can't enter your house. So that's a situation that was in the past. You lost your keys, but you still don't have your keys now. So it is continuing to be a problem now. Okay, so in that idea, we often use with, and this would be again talking about reason number 4, talking about recent events with the words just, yet, already, recently, and still. So when you're talking about an action that happened recently, and we want to add these words. So, for example, just would mean a short time ago. So, for example, I've just had a shower. That's why my hair is wet. Or, no, I'm not hungry because I have already eaten. So already has happened sooner than expected. Okay. Yet is when we use it in a negative sense. Only with a negative, so with the not, so negative verb. Oh, I'm very sorry. I'm just going to have to pause that for the delivery. Sorry about that. So it's delivery for my little girl's new big girl bed, and you never know what time it's going to arrive. So I was talking about the words that we use. So yet, meaning until now with a negative verb. So for example, I haven't eaten lunch yet. Okay. So it's meaning that, so far today. So this today started this morning and I'm thinking about today and I haven't eaten lunch yet. So it's hasn't happened yet so far in the day. So again, it's talking about the whole, the time starting in the past and continuing now. Okay, we also use it with recently. So with recent events, So in the near past. So I haven't been feeling well recently because I've had a horrible cold. It's still, as you can hear in my nose and in my voice, it's still there. And that's another word we use, still. So when something started in the past and it's continuing, still now, in the present, again, present perfect. So I still haven't recovered from my cold. Okay. So how many? So that was use number 4. So and then so the final reason we use the present perfect. So as I said, it's today, this month, this week, this year, they're all time words, starting in the past and continuing now. Now, we also use the present perfect to talk about our life experiences. Why? Because our life started in the past and it's continuing now and will hopefully continue for a long time. So that's why when we're talking about our lifetime experiences, and we are not saying when something happened, but we're saying at some point in our past, in our life, because our life started in the past and is continuing now, we use the present perfect. Okay, so for example, I have traveled to many places in my life. I have been to South Africa, I have been to Russia, I have been to Southeast Asia, I have been all around Europe, I have been to the United States of America. Okay, so again, I'm not saying when these actions happened. If I go into the when, I use the past simple. So for example, I visited South Africa in 2004. So when we're talking about a point in our lives and we are not saying when, we use the present perfect because we are still alive. So we can, if we're in the negative, we would use the word never, so not once in our life. And if we're saying in a question or with a superlative, we would use ever, so in a person's lifetime. So I have never been to South America. Have you ever visited Paris? The Louvre is one of the most amazing museums I have ever been to. Okay, so one of the most amazing superlative. Okay, so if you have any questions on the present perfect, which is completely understandable because it is a complicated tense, please don't hesitate to comment below. Please check out our fast grammar course to be able to get some exercises and sheets on how to use the present perfect. Also, don't hesitate to go onto our actual English verb tense course where there are even more exercises to do, to practice and practice and practice, because that is the key to the present perfect. It is, so it becomes a reflex like it is for native speakers, because it is a complex tense. Also, please check out, I'm going to put a link in this video on the other videos I've done with the present perfect. So you can see how it works with the past simple. You can see how it works in comparison to the other present tenses in English, so that you can learn to use it better and to be more fluent in English. And I hope that helps. And I'm sorry for the interruption with the delivery. Anyway, I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Bye for now.